Hey guys, it's the Hunter here from Team Fuzzy Panda. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Great Nature Leopold deck profile. I know I promised to do this a long time ago. It's just that I've been really busy. All of our members have been busy, but I finally have time to go ahead and do the deck profile, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. So let's get started. First off, the starter is Blackboard Parrot. Now, I really prefer this starter over the other ones. I mean, there's the one where you can search for the 3. There's the one that I used to use, the one where you counterblast 2 to plus 4 and then it gets retired. But I like this one because I base my deck now over draw power and search power. So, obviously, when you can put this card in Soul and you can target one of your rearguard units. And whenever that unit gets retired at the end phase, you draw a card. So it gives it that skill. So that's the starter. For the trigger lineup, I have 4 heals, 2 draw triggers. For now I'm using these because obviously this is the only draw trigger unit there is right now. But once box 9 comes out, I plan to switch these with the donkeys. The donkeys have a skill where you can put into Soul and it gets +3 to one of your Great Nature units, whether rearguard or Vanguard. So obviously the other one's better, but for now I'm using these because, like I said, since I'm basing my deck over draw power and search power, I might increase the number to 4 draws, but for now I'm only using 2 because they don't have any skills, and I'm using 2 stands in place of the draws for now. So 2 stands, 2 draws, 4 heals, 8 criticals. So for the Cobras and for the Chameleons. Now, I like the Chameleon for its skill because in this deck, I mean, well, there's technically 4 cards you can put in this deck that do the same thing, that when it gets retired, you can counterblast 1 and search for it, and which are the Hamsters and the Chameleon. But I don't like using the grade 3 Chameleon, which you'll see that I don't have in the grade 3 lineup. But I do use the crits, and I do use the 1 and 2, which you'll see later on. Crits, I mean, don't be scared to do the skill. A lot of people say like, oh, why do you use skill? Because you lose crits if you do that. But in reality, you gotta think about it like, well, it can come down to hitting for game. Plus, even if they live, at least you still get a 10 shield back to your hand. So it's still a good effect to use, and I use it from time to time. I don't use it all the time, but I prefer using the 1s and 2s, but this still helps. So 4 of the Chameleon crits. That's the triggers. Grade 1s. I have 2 Stamp Sea Otter. Now this card is really good because not only does it prevent your opponent from retiring it with effects, it works for you too. So whenever you run out of searching cards, whether it's the Chameleon, the grade 1 or grade 2, you can still use the power up skills and it won't get retired. Plus with the compass line, you can just target this too, which you'll see later on. Compass line, you can target this and it won't get retired. So really good card to have. I run 2. I run 4 of the pencil Squire Hammsuke. Obviously for its skill, counterblast 1, search for the same copy from your deck and add it to hand. And this is usually the target that I'll target with cards that give it, if it's retired, you draw. So run 4 of those. Then 2 of the Silver Wolf, just because it's an AK beater and a booster. So I know people should say I should run more, but 2 is enough because I like the other skills better. So then there's the Coiling Duckbill. This is, I mean, I was debating whether to run 4 of these, but I think right now 3 is good enough. It seems to be working fine with just 3. But obviously I use this because of its skill. Because when I play it as a rearguard, I can target one of my units, and well, rearguard units, and if it gets retired at the end phase, I draw. This is where the draw power comes into place. So technically I can draw 4 times if I do the 0 and 1 of each of the duckbills. So that's a really good skill. I like it. That's what I based it on now, and it seems to be working really well. My hand size gets really big, and it's helpful when it comes down to guarding. Plus, you can let your rear guards get retired if they attack them, because you'll be like, you know what, I could just replace them. So then I run 3 perfect shields. So that's the great ones. One other thing about the great ones, I know most of my great ones are 6 or lower. Don't be afraid of that, because I mean, the point of this deck is to search out and draw and power up with the grade 2s and the grade 3 skill, the Tiger and the Leopold. So obviously you want it, and plus you want to get hit so that way you'll be able to counterblast and search out. So don't be afraid that you're gonna get, because most of the times you might get a lot of damage early on, but that's not to be afraid of, because I mean obviously you can still heal, plus you want the damage to so you can do skills. So that's the grade 1s. And grade 2s, 4 Pencil Knight Hammsuke. Obviously same thing as the grade 1 Hammsuke. When it gets retired in phase, you can counterblast 1 and search for the same copy and add it to hand. So usually the Hammsukes are the ones I target to power up, and if I run out of those, I target the Chameleon, and if I run out of that, I target the Stamp Otter. So, but I mean, it's very rare when I run out of targets. So then I ran 4 Binoculus Tiger, obviously for the fact that it has that skill where it attacks Vanguard, plus you can plus 4 one of your rear guards, and at the end phase it gets retired. Now this is one of the reasons why I want to switch the stands to draw triggers, because with the donkey anyway, when it comes out, because I can power up him, and that way I can attack Vanguard, and they don't, because since my great ones are low a weak, most of the times I'm only going to be attacking for 15. And then so with the Vanguard's 11, obviously they can easily just guard with a 5. So with the donkeys, when they come out, I can at least put into Soul plus 3 him, and at least that way they'll have to guard with 10 or more for the Vanguard, depending on the situation. So that way I can still do its skill to power one of my other rear guards. So 4 Binoculus Tigers, 4 Compass Lions. Now I love this card because it's 11 beater, and I would rather prefer to write into him when I write into grade 2, because that way I don't have to worry about wasting a Binoculus Tiger to, you know, get the skill of retiring and then drawing and searching. Plus he's 11k beater, so it's good to have him as a Vanguard as well for that one turn, because that way it's harder for them to hit you if you don't want them to hit you for so much damage after they hit you for a lot the first time around. Plus, I mean, it's just a good card to have. And then once you run out of targets, another thing about this card I forgot to say is that you can target the ones you target. Let's say you target the Binoculus Tiger, you target one of your rear guards, then you attack with Leopold, which you'll see later on. You do this game the same skill with Leopold and target the same one. The one you target to boost, you can retire with his skill first, so that way you don't have to retire one of your other units with his skill. So just keep that in mind. So then 4 Compass Lions. And then last grade 3 lineup, I run 3 Magnet Crocodiles. So I mean, obviously when it attacks Vanguard, it gets +2, so it's good to hit for like game. Because I mean, with this and the Binoculus Tiger, you power up and you power up its booster, or you can power itself if you have nothing else to power up, and it's gonna hit for a lot. So last, the main card, 4 Leopolds, School Hunter Leopolds. Obviously I prefer this grade 3 for the Vanguard over the other limit breakers, because I mean, it's just the fact that you can power up one of your units, which will be the last attacking unit, and then if they guard this, because if it's hitting for game and they guard this, at least that way whatever triggers you get, you can add it to the remaining rear guard, which is the one you either powered up or the booster, and then it's going to attack for a lot more. So this combined with Binoculus Tiger, I mean, that's a +8k already, because it's 4 and 4. So I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, are you going to use Polaris when it comes out? I'm like, I don't think so. I think Leopold was the best one they made. I don't think any other grade 3 limit breaker can top this one, but I mean, that's just my opinion, and I like this one a lot, so that's what I use. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it's not that hard to build a Great Nature deck. I mean, I love this build. I love this version. Maybe I'll make an updated deck profile once the other cards come out. But really, the only change I'm going to make is the draw triggers. So, I hope you enjoy. I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, or if you want to see any other deck profiles, just let me know in the comments. And I'll get to it as soon as I can. Alright, see ya.